So, I've been dealing with a lot of new racism, prejudicism in the last 3 or 4 years that I've never experienced in my life. Um, Obviously, I'm a brown guy. I'm probably the most diverse person you've ever met. My family has Dominican, Mexican, Puerto Rican, Polish, Cherokee Indian, Dutch, African American. I mean, you name it. My family is as diverse as you can think. So we have all the races, and I mean that's what makes us American. And this what drives me crazy with the racism right now. I just got done watching a movie, Mudbound, and it made me emotional. It made me more emotional. I feel like that racism over the generations have gotten better. I feel like that also everybody says God has a plan. All these different things. I just feel like that without slavery, Africans wouldn't be in America. And if Africans weren't in America, they wouldn't be African American. We wouldn't have our LeBron Jameses. We wouldn't have our Michael Jordans. We wouldn't have our Obamas. We wouldn't have all of these different things that the African Americans make our country great. Not just that, but their culture, their music, the singing. I mean, there's so many things that go along with what I'm saying, and I just feel so sad right now that racism was never a subject in my life. I never really experienced it. There's a few things that have been said, which I call prejudicism. It's not racism, but at the same time, I see people on these news outlets, and they're reaching out and they're military veterans, and I applaud Candace Owens. Like she said, she put herself on 1,000 daggers to let her people know the truth, and I believe that, and I feel like that I'm just an average regular person. I'm not a famous. I'm not a rapper like Snoop Dogg, The Game, and a few other people that have reached out, and they're trying to get the truth to the African American community. And Candace Owens is one of them. She gets threatened all the time, and yet she still goes out there and does it. And I'm sick and tired of the criticism that's towards them. I mean, we have our own opinion. We live in America. America is supposed to be a country of opinions. You don't have to agree with someone's opinion, but I feel like I grew up my entire life a Democrat, and my mom's a hardcore Democrat. And I felt like when I grew up and I learned what I learned in life, that you can't go for a party that's 100% guaranteed you're going to get your vote. You need to go for what you think is right. Okay? And Trump was the first person that I loved Obama and everything like that. Trump was the first person, non-politician, speaks his fucking mind. We're all prejudiced, one way or the other. I have, like I said, I have African in my family. Everything else, I'm prejudiced towards certain things Black people do. I'm prejudiced towards Hispanics as well. I'm Hispanic, and my grandma's Black, and my fucking niece and nephew are Black. I'm not racist because I'm prejudiced towards a Black person getting on welfare and getting free housing as long as they're not married to their spouse and raising a kid with their father. Like, I'm prejudiced towards that. I'm sorry, I don't agree with that, and that's the main reason why Black people are at where they're at now. They get free handouts from the government. I never saw that until I recognized what Candace Owens was saying, is that the plantation mentality was to separate the families, and it makes complete sense. If you have, 85% of the people didn't own slaves. The people that owned slaves, they were rich, and they own, 100 slaves with 30 people watching them. The best thing to do is to separate the family, separate the dad from the family, give them dependence, give them food, give them a roof over their head and clothing. And once they did that, it allowed the plantation owners to be comfortable with not worrying about the slaves trying to escape. Um, I completely agree with that. That was smart of them to do that. But at the same time, I'm tired of watching these Democrats that voted for slavery to be slavery, that started the KKK. They are the racist fucking branch of everything that's going on in these days, and yet they're considered to be for the colored person like me, and they are not, and it drives me fucking insane. All I see is open borders, let all the amigos and the Mexicans come in and the Guatemalans come in and take all of our fucking jobs, to where they're sneaking them in and breaking the fucking law. But yet, those voters are going, those illegals that they're trying to give licensings to. I'm a landscaper, man. Okay, I've been with all the illegals, all the immigrants, and I've worked with them, and they've told me they're fake security cards. They told me that they did a job, and it came back that that person was deceased, dead. So they come back with another social security card from another person, and they get the job. Granted, they're hard workers and they do great, but at the same time, I just feel like the Democrats' plan is to get South America, the brown folk, and open borders and freedom and licenses and all these different things, so they can become the new voter. Because at that point, the black vote don't count no more, and the ignorance needs to fucking stop with the black vote. For people to be like, one racist cop destroys every cop in the department, when every like I'd swear like 95% of the cops were like, they're trying to do good. I've watched so many YouTube stories of white cops helping black people, and if you look it up, you have over 150, 160 cop deaths because the African American community, Black Lives Matter, are pointing all the problems at the police. So African Americans are going, they're killing police, and they're killing police that are good for the community. They're not killing the bad ones. If they investigated and they went out, wanted to be a vigilante and take out the racist cop, I completely understand. But the 77-year-old cop that was defending his friend's pawn shop, that was black, getting killed, the protester, the young lady, getting killed, getting shot in the back. Okay, these are people that lives are taken away. There's Memorial Weekend in Chicago. There were 60 people killed. None of that shit made the news. So it sickens me that these news media's outlets can control the minds of African Americans. They can't control my fucking mind, because I am diverse and I'm open-minded. Even though I grew up with a narrative too, I never grew up with racism, and I don't ever expect anyone to do that. My niece and my nephew are African American, and they claim to be African American. If it wasn't for their uncle, they'd believe in racism. But because I asked them, how much racism have you dealt with? You know what they told me? None. Then why are you so scared of racism? It's because of the fucking media. And the media, the news outlets, and everything in this fucking world is controlling the narrative of Democrats that get kickbacks from dropping pallets of cash to the terrorists. When Trump came in and said, hey, no more pallets of cash to the terrorists no more. We're going to have a maximum fucking campaign, and we're going to cut them the fuck off. The Democrats gave them pallets of fucking cash. Clearly, we all know the government's corrupt. Whether it's the Democrats or Republicans, we know there's officials that are corrupt. We catch them all the time. The problem that I'm having is the corruptness goes way deeper on the Democrat side, because you're changing the ignorant people who do not inform themselves on the news. They don't look at information. They take what they say from other people. Oh, Trump's racist. So without you finding out if he's a racist by yourself, you automatically believe he's a racist because your friend told you he was a racist, and your friend got that from a news media outlet. It's ridiculous, okay? Because I had the same narrative, and I didn't like Trump, okay? But when I started seeing things he was doing for the black community and the brown folk, creating things, this man has been through so much scrutiny. Could you imagine if you could have just left this man alone? would a minority be right now? It's insane. And I'm sorry. He only cares about Americans. I'm tired of being black, white, Hispanic. Goddamn motherfuckers ask me, what's your nationality? In Jacksonville, I'm considered black. Orlando, I'm considered Hispanic. I never experienced that in my life. Where the fuck are you asking me what nationality I am when I'm born in America? I'm a fucking American. How the fuck can we go to South America, the Mayans, the Aztecs, all these different Spaniards coming over there settling, all these different things, but they can call themselves Mexicans. They can call themselves Guatemalans. Be a completely different fucking race. And here we are in America. We've been around just as long as South America. We've been around just as long as Canada, whatever. And they're Canadians. But yet, in America, I consider myself an American. Okay? We are diverse. We are mixed. There is no pure blood in American blood. America's is mixed. It's what made Rome great. Because, believe it or not, they had slavery too. But the slavery was able to work towards their freedom. And when they got their freedom, they can go on and become the richest people, whoever they wanted to. So, having that diversity is important and why a nation is so great. So America is the best nation in the world, like Rome was, is because of our diversity. I don't get why we are still attacking racism, and it's only happened in the last 4 years since Trump came into office. Never dealt with racism, never heard about it. And then Trump got in office, all of a fucking sudden, every media outlet is racist, and you're racist, you're racist. That is horrible to label someone as a racist if you don't know what the fuck they're thinking and what the fuck they're doing. Okay? I'm not a racist. But I promise you, I'm against Black Lives Matter. My niece and my nephew, they black. They don't mean shit to me because all lives matter. Okay? There is 156 police officers killed this year, while there was 7 agreed police brutality. 7. Now you're giving the black narrative, is what I call it. You're going to the ignorant black America and you're telling them police are out to get you. So all these good police officers that have helped black communities, and they're white, Hispanic, whatever the fuck color they are, you're killing them. You're killing them. It makes no fucking sense to me that a 77-year-old black officer defending his French pawn shop had to die. He was black. Kids shot studying in their house get shot. More black people kill more black people than ever before. And I believe in abortion. Like I said, I'm open-minded. I'm not one narrative. But when that baby in that womb gets a heartbeat, you can't kill the motherfucker no more, man. After 2 to 3 months, that baby get a heartbeat. Okay? Now, the Democrats allow you to abort babies up to 9 months. I've never heard of that before until Candace Owens mentioned it. And that, the population is the growth in New York is stagnant. And that the more babies are being born than black babies are being born. That's insane to me. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Okay? That is insane. And of course, you're going to have your ignorant fucks that don't care the narrative. They don't care about nothing else but free Jordans, robbing, and looting. And Black Lives Matter and all these fake ass narratives that CNBC and all these other media outlets are just like, they're laughing. These are the plantation owners, is the media outlet, because the media outlet has black people doing exactly what the fuck they want them to do. Commit crimes, murder each other, separate the father from the family with welfare and all these government assistance bullshit, instead of creating, when I watch a lot of these slave movies, one of them I watched was like Mudbound. It's one of my favorites. You know, there's white people that fought for the equality and died for African American equality back in the 60s, the 70s, and I'm sure earlier than that. But they died. None of these white people are recognized for the sacrifices that they gave African Americans. None. But yet, all of a sudden, in the last 4 years, we're the most racist country in the world. If you guys want to keep believing in the politics, because clearly, old Joe and old Joe's son grew up privileged. White boy. That's why he was on the board of Burisma, making a bunch of fucking money with no experience. Is because his daddy was the vice fucking president. I don't understand how you can't see the common sense. This man has been caught with crack, cocaine. He got a stripper pregnant and made a baby. But yet, this baby that he's made with this stripper is not acknowledged. It doesn't exist. You never hear about Hunter Biden on the news outlet. And they control Amazon. They control every fucking thing. And if you believe Black Lives Matter, how the fuck are they taking all this money and sponsoring a NASCAR? That shit costs millions of dollars. So all this shit they talk, why the fuck are they putting that money towards black communities and education? Because I've watched growing up, I learned cursive. I learned how to write checks. And what I see from my niece and my nephew, they don't know how to write cursive. They don't have art school. They don't have music school. I learned how to play the fucking accordion in school, the flute. You know, there's a lot of things that was taught that I'm watching my niece and my nephew. They're not taught that. So the goal of the Democrats is to keep the African American public ignorant. It's dumb. And I'm sorry to say to you, African Americans, you fake, uninformed motherfuckers. Y'all are fake as fuck. Because y'all don't watch nobody. You don't inform yourselves. You're just going off for information to make you guys all excited and go out there and fucking murder and mayhem and steal shit. Which is ignorant, okay? I'm going to let you know. Okay? I'm teaching my niece and my nephews, African American. Better than that. You go out there and work for the fuck you going to get. You ain't robbing those stores. You ain't rioting. Getting free J's. You know, sneaking into pharmaceutical stores and stealing everything. You're not that person. But the narrative the African American community is setting towards my niece and my nephew, they feel like they need to protest too and go rob and steal and murder. And it's not going to happen on my motherfucking watch. Thank you, Candace Owens. For her as a role model, I can make my niece and my nephew watch her, and I completely changed their narrative. And they are working out on landscaping companies. They work for me now during the summer, and I've come changing the narrative. They make money. I take them shopping. They do what they gotta do. Fuck that handout. Fuck that welfare. Fuck that Section 8. Fuck that shit. Never had it in my life, and neither will my African American family will ever have government assistance. The Democrats are so insisting on just giving you all the free shit you want. As long as you don't work and you are not with your family, your father is separated from the kids, child support, so on and so forth. I'm done. I'm making this YouTube video being a regular ass motherfucker that's worked for everything he's had. And I have every diversity in my family that I had. I'm not a military veterinarian. I'm not none of these things. I'm not everybody that has a platform to speak their mind. They certain things that I respect and applaud them. Thank God. If it wasn't for those people, as a Democrat my entire life, I would not. And I'm not a Republican, by the way. I'm free-minded. I'm going to choose whoever the fuck is best for the party. Who the fuck knows if a Democrat finally realizes the ignorance and the oppression that they've been putting on brown and black people for the last 70 fucking years, that ought to step up for them. I'm going for what's right. Okay? So let's get it in, baby. The truth is out there. You research it. Don't look towards other people's to tell you what the fuck the truth is. Because it's not the fucking truth unless you realize it and research it and look into it yourself. Thank you. I love y'all. I love all lives. All lives matter.